The Redmi Note 7 Pro came in March this year with a camera setup that still remains one of the best, if not the best, in its segment. The Redmi K20 Pro comes in with the same primary camera but also adds in two more cameras to assist it. This is Sandeep from RevAtlas. Let's compare the cameras on both these phones. Before we get started, let's take a minute to check out some of the skins from Capes India for Redmi K20 Pro and other smartphones. There are a wide variety of skins, including this marble skin which looks dope in my opinion, and even this wood variant which looks nice and will be a new texture that Capes India is launching soon. You can check out capesindia.com or follow the link in the description below and use coupon code RevAtlas to get 10% off on your order. The Redmi K20 Pro features a primary 48MP half-inch Sony IMX586 sensor with f1.75 aperture in the middle, a 2x telephoto camera with 8MP resolution and f2.4 aperture at the top, while the bottom camera is a 13MP ultra-wide-angle camera with f2.4 aperture and 124.8 field of view. The Note 7 Pro has a dual camera setup which consists of a primary 48MP half-inch Sony IMX586 sensor mated to an f1.8 lens, and you also get a secondary 5MP f2.4 depth sensor. Despite the identical hardware for the primary sensor, the way these phones output images are still different. The first thing you notice is the warmer tones on the Redmi K20 Pro images, while Note 7 Pro is cooler and more like the real deal. The K20 Pro images also have more saturation by default. In terms of dynamic range, the Note 7 Pro tends to do better while preserving details in the highlights, while the K20 Pro tends to recover more from the shadows while letting the highlights loose a bit. The file sizes are often large on the Note 7 Pro, but in terms of detail and sharpness, the K20 Pro is slightly better. Low-light performance is an area where you see a big difference between the two phones, as the superior ISP on the Redmi K20 Pro gives it better sharpness, detail and lower noise levels when the light drops. Of course, using night mode does help improve the images on the Note 7 Pro, but it also makes it better on the K20 Pro, and the gap still remains and the K20 Pro still gives better images with or without night mode. While the primary camera can capture a great amount of detail, having a telephoto lens is always appreciated to get that extra bit of reach when needed, and while the K20 Pro telephoto camera isn't as good as the primary camera on either phone, the output is still better than zooming in or cropping into those images. The same goes for the ultra-wide angle camera. The wide field of view allows you to create some dramatic looking shots which aren't possible with the regular focal length on either phone. In terms of portrait mode, the Redmi K20 Pro could earlier capture only with telephoto camera during a phase of testing and comparison shots, but since then an update has brought about the ability to take portrait shots with the wide angle camera as well. Still, in terms of edge detection and sharpness as well as blurring, the Redmi K20 Pro does a better job compared to a Note 7 Pro, and the ability to use either the wide angle camera for a wider perspective or the telephoto camera for a more forced perspective adds to its versatility. The Redmi Note 7 Pro has a 13MP f2 front facing camera, while the K20 Pro has a 20MP f2.2 pop-up camera. Despite the higher resolution, we find the quality of output to be better on the Note 7 Pro, and the details are sharper, more detailed, and the dynamic range is better too. The slight difference in the field of view where the Note 7 Pro is a bit narrow, but it's a very small difference. Portrait mode is great on both with good edge detection and blurring, and it's hard to pick a clear winner here. In our eyes, both the phones are doing a good job. Under low light too, the performance from Note 7 Pro is better as it gives cleaner images with lesser noise owing to the larger aperture as well as lesser amount of pixels that it has to push. In terms of video recording, the K20 Pro easily takes the cake. Not only does it support 4K 60fps without EIS, which the Note 7 Pro doesn't have, it also gives 4K 30fps with EIS, while the Note 7 Pro can do 4K 30fps without EIS and 1080p 30fps max with EIS. On top of that, the K20 Pro can record up to 4K 60 with the telephoto and ultra-wide angle camera too. Front-facing video maxes out at 1080p 30fps on both the phones, and there's no EIS, and quality is about the same and nothing worth bragging about on either. EIS would have made things a whole lot better, and we hope that the K20 Pro at least gets it in the future.
Hey guys, this is Sandeep from RevAtlas, and this is the front-facing camera on the Redmi K20 Pro, capturing 1080p 30fps video. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, the stabilization, and how well it's picking up my voice in this particular scenario. This is the front-facing camera on the Redmi Note 7 Pro, capturing 1080p 30fps video. Let me know what you guys think about the overall sharpness, the dynamic range, how well it's picking up my voice in this scenario, and the stabilization as well.
Overall, the Redmi K20 Pro is definitely the better camera phone. It's more versatile owing to the different focal lengths. It has better camera performance in low light, better portrait mode, and better video recording. But if you don't need the videos or the different focal lengths, the Note 7 Pro is still a solid offering at the price point. Thanks for watching this video. Please do hit the subscribe button if you liked it. See you again in the next one.